I'm a duck. Stratagems. You love them. I love them. We all love them. They make things go boom. But are all stratagems created equally? I don't think so. Let's find out. Alright, so here we are on our tier list. Essentially what I'm looking for, and sort of how I'm judging things here, is how effective is the stratagem, right? Specifically speaking on how good is it, you know, killing higher tiered enemies? Is it fun to use? And is it good at eliminating, you know, lower tier enemies in terms of, like, you know, smaller adds? Can it clear out a vast swath of enemies? Or by, you know, comparison, because there are defensive stratagems, how good is it defending? Okay, so that's the criteria here. I have them color coded by the weapons, by, you know, airstrikes, by orbitals, and all of that fun stuff. So we're gonna go top down. We're gonna mess with the weapons for right now. Okay, we're only talking about the weapons for right now. So the very first one that I have to bring up is the, I don't even know what the hell this is called. The hell is this called?
This is the sniper rifle.
It's one of the very early on stratagems, and we could take a look at this. Hold up, let me turn on my thing. Okay, so it's this stratagem specifically speaking. Now
I didn't even unlock this.
I did actually, so I did unlock it, but I haven't used it at all because I kind of feel like personally that this stratagem is not as good against higher tiered enemies. I feel like it will just bounce off a charger or, you know, any of the bigger enemies, which I think it even says it. It says it's only good for like light armor enemies, right? So I personally don't really use this. I prefer the railgun over this weapon. And even still, the other thing that I don't like about this particular stratagem as an assault weapon is that it's sniping. Okay, this game isn't about sniping. It's not about taking out one enemy. It's about taking out multiple enemies and staggering those big dudes. Okay, so from my perspective, from what I think I have to put this on a kind of level, just because I think you can bypass this entirely. This weapon you don't need early on. I would prefer for anyone to get the stalwart to start out with, just because it clears enemies way faster than this thing could ever do. So the next one up is the machine gun. I do think that you should have this, and I think this is like one of your very early on unlocks, which is perfect. Clears out ads, gets rid of, you know, all of the enemies for the early game up until about like medium difficulty. I think it's pretty good. So you should definitely have this straight away. The next one up is the flamethrower. I haven't even unlocked this. You can see that I haven't unlocked it. All right, I think, well, I don't even, where is it? I have not unlocked it, but I have used it in the world. I don't think it's really that good. And I've actually, when I use it, every time I set something on fire, I end up getting on fire as well. So it's like, why the hell am I going to use something that's going to hurt me in the long run? It's just going to, you know, take away my health. So personally, this is a nopulous for me. Don't even bother unlocking this sucker. What's the point of having an assault stratagem if I'm just going to set myself on fire? So what we're going to do here, we're going to put this flamethrower in the absolutely not category, the nopulous, the N-O-P-E. We are not using that. And this is just bypass this one. Okay, just don't even use it. It's not worth it. And this one right here is the one and done. The one and done rocket launcher. I've heard mixed reviews about this, but I personally don't like that it's a one and done. I prefer the recoilless. Okay, and this is my tier, so I'm gonna put this on a should have. You should unlock it early on, but definitely don't prioritize this over the stalwart. The stalwart is gonna get you further in the early stages than this thing is, because you're really not going to be utilizing this at all. Okay, so this is a maybe you should get it if that's your thing, but it's, to me, it's not really that effective. Okay, not really that effective. The recoilless rifle is amazing. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Also, you can have a teammate pick up the ammo pack and reload it with you. That way you can, you know, get the shots off faster. But even at that, even if you're carrying the backpack and you have to reload it yourself, it's still incredibly powerful. You get multiple shots of a rocket launcher. Okay, definitely a should have. You should definitely be unlocking this. Now this item right here, that's the
arc thing.
I've used it maybe once in the game, and we can see what that is here. So right there, as you guys can see, that's the arc thrower. Okay, and I personally didn't like it. I didn't think it was that effective against enemies. I didn't really enjoy using it. I actually found myself getting hurt more using this thing. And also because it's an electric shock, if your teammates are in the way of it, it'll shoot through your teammates because it targets multiple enemies in a line. So I think I do still need to use it more to get more familiar with this weapon, but I personally don't like it. I don't think it's worth it. I don't even think you should even spend your money on it. So I'm going to put this in the absolutely not category. That's where this is going. It's going in the not category. Nope. This right here is the baby. That is the autocannon. This thing is amazing, actually. It's really effective against... So, it's not effective against heavy, like chargers or anything like that, but it's really good against the automatons. It's good against some of the Terminids, but sometimes when you shoot it, it bounces off their armor. So, it's kind of like an in-betweener kind of weapon. If you want something to be incredibly effective against the automatons, this is going to be the weapon for you. Okay, I unlocked this to get really good at killing automatons, and this was like one of my first unlocks when I started going to that area and started like up pretty much, and I enjoyed my playthrough with it. So this is definitely a should have. It's a light armor piercing weapon. Very, very good. I unlocked the laser a little too early, and I haven't used it since. I've only used it a couple of times. I did not like it, and the reason why is because it's just a one-shot laser, right? You only have 2 bullets. Essentially it can be infinite, right, if you time your shots correctly and if you don't go past the overheat, which is fine. But at the same time, I kind of just felt like I was shooting juice at the enemies and nothing was happening. It didn't feel like I was doing anything to the enemies. So I very quickly stopped using it. I maybe used it for like a couple of missions. It wasn't satisfying to use. So I'm putting that in the nope category. The grenade launcher is fantastic. It's good against bugs. It's good against automatons. This is going to the need to have. You need to have this weapon. It's very, very good against both enemies. You will be able to slaughter everyone in your path, blow everything up. It's good against the bug holes. It's good against the AT-ATs that you see on the field. It's good against everything. Okay, very, very useful weapon to have. The railgun. That's my baby. That's a must-have. I remember when they let us use this for free, I thought this was the worst weapon ever. I didn't understand the point of it. And then I looked at, you know, what you're supposed to do with the railgun. Okay, when you actually look at it in the game, it tells you. So it's really, really awesome to use. It's like one of the best weapons to use, and you use it primarily against heavily armored enemies. Those chargers, it's gonna stun them for a hot second, and you can just stun lock them continuously with the railgun, and after a couple of shots, you're killing them. If you're using it in unsafe mode and you're not good with it, you get the added bonus of exploding yourself. I didn't know that. I was using it in unsafe mode a couple of times, and I blew up, and I had no idea what the hell was killing me for quite some time. So you just be careful in unsafe mode. You will explode. But the railgun is definitely going to be a weapon that is a must-have. You should be saving up your funds to get this weapon. It's so good. It's good against so many different types of enemies, especially those big baddies. You're going to want this in your arsenal to be able to just compete, just be able to clear them out. It's going to be, I feel like this weapon is going to be good throughout all stages of the game. Okay. What is this called? The javelin, the auto locking missile. I have this. I've used it, and I feel like it's really super finicky with the lock on. I don't know why sometimes it locks on and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know if it's a range thing. I don't know what's going on with this weapon, but it's, to me, it doesn't feel as strong as the recoilless rifle. And I feel like if they tweak it a bit more and they make the lock on a bit more reliable, it will then go up to a need to have, because it seems like a very, very powerful weapon. But to be honest, in my use of it, I haven't really been successful with it, so I'm putting it in the category right now, and there's a reason for that. If anyone has ever used it, you know that lock-on is super finicky. As of right now, it's okay. It's there. The stalwart is definitely a must-have for early on players. It's really good. You don't have to pause to reload your weapon. You can reload on the fly. You can change the fire rate on it to go really super fast. It's punchy. It feels great. This is definitely a need to have type of weapon. You want this in your arsenal early on, and it's really, really useful throughout all stages. It's not so useful against light. It's not so useful against heavy armored enemies, but it's super good against the earlier guys. Like the little guys that don't have that much armor. If you're fighting Terminids, it destroys Terminids. It just completely obliterates all of the Terminids in your way. For the automatons though, not as effective. I didn't find it as effective. So maybe just because of that reason, because it's not effective against all of the enemies, it might be on a should have kind of tier. But against the Terminids, this thing works wonders. It's phenomenal. You should definitely be getting this weapon. Now we're on the backpack items. Now I don't know what the hell this backpack item is. I've never seen this item. What the hell is that? Not for real. What is that? I don't even think that exists in the game right now. What the hell is this? Who are you? I'm going to put that to the side for now. Guard Dog Rover, phenomenal. You definitely need to have this. I don't know how effective the Rover is against the automatons. I haven't used it against them, but I do know that it is pretty helpful. For me, I feel like the Rover is more effective against the Terminids. I have to do a little bit more playtesting to see how it functions against the automatons. But definitely a need to have item, super effective, helps out clearing ads. It also kind of warns you too if there's something behind you, because it'll automatically just start attacking that thing. And if you're paranoid like me playing this game, you want to know if something's behind you. You don't want to turn around and get
surprised.
Oh my god! You want to know where things are. So this is good in terms of like awareness of your surroundings. It's very, very good in that sense. I like it very much. It's one of my favorite packs to have. Very, very effective. Also, it adds to your kill count. We're here to kill things in Helldivers 2. We're not here to sit down and, you know, be friendly with these things. We're here to kill shit. The guard dog, I have not used this at all. I haven't even unlocked it because I just love the Rover so much, and it's like, why would I want a machine gun when I could have a laser instead? So it's up to you. I have heard that the cooldown time on the regular guard dog is longer than the Rover, so maybe this is a type of thing, but I personally don't have experience with it. I'm gonna put it in the category. I think that fits. I think it fits. The ammo pack. I do not use at all, but I do think it's super useful for those of the people that actually do get it, because when you're, you know, doing those long missions, those 40-minute missions, you can, you know, keep your people just refreshed with ammo consistently. Now, the supply drop, by the time you're running out of ammo, you could just call down a supply drop and one thing will just replenish your ammo entirely. So I don't necessarily really know how effective this is. It's more in a category for me, and I've always kind of felt that it's not really super necessary. I may change my tune if I get to higher difficulties. I'm currently in impossible, but yeah, it's hard. But anyways, I don't know how effective this is. I don't know how many people use it. Me personally, I don't think that this is worth a pack item, I would much rather take the shield generator or the rover versus an actual ammo pack. It's more in the category. It's up to your discretion if you want to use the jetpack. I use this a couple of times. It's really good to get angles on enemies and to gain height on enemies, right? But to be honest, sometimes things are so hectic that you're not even thinking about that. You just want to get shit exploded as quickly as possible, just so you can have a moment of respite. So I'm putting this in the nope category just because I just don't think it's that effective against actual encounters. I don't think it's really that great. The shield pack is one of my favorite stratagems. It's definitely a must-have. It's so good. Apparently it's not effective against the Terminids, but I think there's a bug that it is effective against the Terminids. I don't know if it's supposed to be effective against the Terminids, but I use this primarily when I'm fighting against the automatons, and the automatons, the playstyle for them is completely different, entirely different. Okay, they have guns, they shoot you with stuff, and they have rockets, and they play completely differently. So any little bit that you can get by way of survival is gonna help. It's gonna help you later down the line, I promise you. The 500 kilogram bomb is one of my favorite stratagems. It's like a mini hell bomb. I don't know if you've seen the hell bomb, but it's phenomenal. It's so awesome. The problem that I have with the 500 kilogram bomb is that it's not as effective as it looks. I've seen personally witnessing it like blow up on bigger enemies such as the Bile Titan and other like massive ads on the floor, and it doesn't get all of them like it says it's supposed to. In terms of fun factor, this is one of the most fun things to use. If you just want to blow shit up, this is your boy right here, yo. I think this is which one is this? Hold on, I have to look at this. It's the Eagle Airstrike, and then the other one is the 110 Rocket Pods. The Rocket Pods I have not used, but this is going to be my next unlock, and the only reason why is because it prioritizes bigger enemies. So it will prioritize bigger enemies out of the crowd, and it also does some sort of splash damage because it's multiple hits. So I do think that this is a need to have. In terms of effectiveness, I don't know how good this is going to be until I use it. One of the things that I love about the Eagle Airstrikes is that it's such a cool stratagem because you get multiple uses. It wears out after a time, but then it comes back after you rearm, and it's super quick. Like time to drop when you do an Eagle Airstrike is like no time. It's like 0 seconds, if at that. You know, it's so fast to use these airstrikes, so effective, and it helps in a bind. Like if you're getting overrun, immediately drop some sort of Eagle Airstrike, whatever the hell it is, and it will help you get that moment of respite so that you can actually reload your weapon, get your stuff back together, get your whole mental back together from the craziness that you just experienced, and then go back into battle. That's why I love the Eagle Airstrikes. But in terms of the Rocket Pods, I don't have experience with it yet. Okay, but the Airstrike, I do, and it's definitely a need to have because it helps with destroying automaton buildings. It helps with destroying bug holes. It's effective against both enemies. It clears out a vast array of enemies, all enemies. It's effective against bigger enemies, heavier enemies that have armor. It's just like a really good stratagem to have. The Cluster Strike, I haven't unlocked this yet, and the reason why is because this thing is prone to killing your teammates. I've gotten killed by the cluster bomb so many damn times I don't even want to count. Okay, but the reason why is because it drops very quickly, it has a very wide range, and anyone who's caught in the cluster bomb is going to get toast immediately. Okay, in terms of effectiveness, I do think that this is super effective. I do think that this might be in a should have. I might have to swap these out. I might have to swap this one to a need to have and then I might have to swap this one to a should have, because can you guys please watch where you're putting your stratagems down, especially if it's a cluster bomb? Please, I would greatly appreciate that. I don't like getting exploded by your shitty cluster bomb drops, okay? It sucks. I hate it. Stratagems. Watch where you're putting your stratagems. The napalm strike. I do think that this is also a should have. I don't know if it's really that effective in later stages, but I do think that it's really good against slowing down enemies. Also deals fire damage, which is fucking awesome. It's also amazing to see it actually happen when it does drop. It's spectacular. It's great, especially on night missions. Bro, the smoke bomb, I have not used this. I don't really see the need for smoke, and people who are playing in Helldive mode and all of that may disagree with me. I just don't see the reason why you would have smoke, to be honest. I don't understand it. Like, I don't get it personally. It's in an kind of category, because I can see this being useful against the automatons to clear their field of vision, and I think they'll just shoot like randomly into the smoke if they think you're there or whatever the case is. But me personally, I don't think this is going to be something that I'm going to unlock, or I may just unlock it to see how it works, and then move from there. But personally, I don't really understand the point of the smoke bomb, to be honest. I don't really see the need for it. The strafing run eagle airstrike. This one is very, very good early stage. Very, very good early stage. Like, if you can unlock this like before you get to about like medium difficulty or something like that, it's super useful. It clears ads like nobody's business, and it shoots in a straight line. Okay, and you're not really gonna hit your teammates with this if you place it correctly. Okay, even if you place it directly in front of your enemies, like they have to be literally standing in like on top of where you dropped your stratagem for them to die. Okay, so this is super, super useful. Very, very good to have. Definitely a should have. The orbital strike, the orbital precision strike. I think this is the very first one that you unlock, but as you progress throughout the game, it's definitely not the greatest. It's more on like an category, because you start to realize that it's not as effective against the bigger enemies unless you use a railgun to shear off enemies' armors and things like that. So me personally, I think it's in an category. You should still have it. Everybody probably has it, but just be wary when you're playing against those tougher enemies. This is not really gonna do what you need it to do and or want it to do. Okay, the orbital, I think this is the cluster strike. I love this one. I think this is definitely a need to have, because it clears so many ads, and it's 3 bursts. So if you get like a huge horde of enemies and they're coming at you, and you can see that they're like in a line, and you know that they're going to be coming, you need just get this. It's so cool to see. It's so cool to use. It's a lot of fun to see it in action. The smoke orbital, I'm putting that in nope. Because why? Look, there's a reason for why I'm saying. Okay, there's an absolute reason for what I'm saying. First of all, it's 1. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's just 1 cloud of smoke.
No, it's 3. Whatever.
What's the point? I see the enemy, I'm gonna shoot the enemy, right? Like, I don't understand what the point is of that. Nobody's here to smoke people. We just want to shoot shit. We want to blow shit up. We're not here to cover our tracks. We're here to blow shit up. It's like, why is this even a thing? The He barrage, and I don't know if this is the 120 or the 380, but both of these are an absolute not. And there's also a reason for that. It's because they're so unpredictable. You don't know where they're gonna land. The one's gonna land over here, the other one's gonna land over here, the other one's gonna land behind you, and maybe on top of your head and explode your face off. It's the most inconsistent orbital. It's not precise. It sucks. You end up killing more of your teammates than you do actual enemies. What's the point of this thing? It sucks. I don't like it. It's extremely powerful too. but why use it? I think there's more room for error using these heat barrages, because you are either gonna miss your target entirely or you're gonna kill your teammates entirely, and nobody likes any of those things. Okay, this is the stupid EMP that launches and it slows people down. Personally, I don't really find the need for this. This is definitely going to be in a Nopulus category. I do think it's effective and may be effective in later stages. I just haven't used it enough. I think you need to pair this with another stratagem for it to be super effective. If like, you know, a sentry or something along those lines, because it's slowing them down. It's taking them out of commission. As a standalone item, I don't really think it's going to be that useful, especially in the earlier stages. Maybe in the later stages, I don't know. But what's better than this is this one. This one is actually better than that because it shoots 2 and it keeps shooting rather than just having 1 and then having a cooldown. So that's why I put this in the nope category. It's not really that effective. This sucks. Don't use it. Okay, what the hell is this thing? Oh, the Gatling barrage. I feel like I've only used this a couple of times. To me, I don't really find this to be, or would find it to be, that effective against heavier, you know, armored enemies. Sure, I'll get it if I really want to, but you don't really need to. There's other better stratagems out there for you to be able to use that I think will be more effective in the long run. So you can kind of skip this one. The orbital laser, definitely a must-have. First of all, it's amazing to watch. It's cool to see a laser come out from the sky and obliterate everything in its path. And it prioritizes bigger enemies first, and it will just literally, in the vicinity that you put it down, will just target anything in its way. Small enemies, big enemies, everything. It kills so much. This is definitely a must-have by way of orbital strikes. The orbital rail cannon, definitely a must-have. It's a lifesaver. It targets bigger enemies and prioritizes bigger enemies. If you're going against a Bio Titan, this is what you want to have in your arsenal. It's gonna f that thing up like nobody's tomorrow. It's gonna shear off the damn armor of it, and you could just go to town and shoot its face off. Get the damn orbital railgun. The walking barrage. I have not used this, but it does look very, very effective. I'm gonna put it in the category just because I don't have experience with it at all. But it does look super effective because it shoots in a straight line. And if more times than not in this game, you know where enemies are coming from because you either hear them or you see them coming off in a distance. And if you could throw this down and kind of, you know, get your kills, I can see this being extremely effective because it looks super powerful. But because I'm a shithead and I don't have this unlocked, I'm going to put this in the category. The next up, we have our sentries. Now, these are kind of finicky, okay? They're very finicky because they're so easy to get rid of. A charger comes through, another enemy, a Hulk, it's gone in 2 seconds. So, because you need to have another sentry put next to the sentry that you're using to protect it, which kind of sucks. Even when you have like your bay maxed out, these things are gonna go unless you have something else that's gonna protect it. But by way of effectiveness, when it comes to, you know, all difficulties, some of these are pretty useful. The EMP kind of looking thing, I'm gonna put this in the should have because it is super effective if you pair it with a mortar or if you pair it with an autocannon, one or the other. Because essentially what this is going to do is going to shoot out, it's going to slow down your enemies, and then the other mortars are going to come down and blow everybody to the hell where they belong. Autocannon. The autocannon is definitely a need to have. This thing is phenomenal. Phenomenal against those guys that have the heavy armor. So please get this. This is one of the ones that you're going to want to need, especially at the later stages of the game. It's good against all types of enemies. Smaller enemies, big enemies, it's going to do the job. The machine gun sentry, not as effective as the Gatling. I would say that this is a nope. You could bypass this one entirely because the Gatling is just that much better. it's way stronger and it functions the way that you want it to function. The Gatling is going to go and it should have. Okay, so don't even worry about the machine gun sentry. Get the Gatling sentry. It's going to do way more. It's going to last for longer. It's going to help you take care of those swaths of enemies that are coming through. Do not even worry about the machine gun sentry. The mortar sentry, definitely a need to have. This thing is effective. Effective at range. It's just effective. Will you maybe blow up some of your teammates? Yeah, but you're gonna get at least way more kills than you should. That's all there is to it. If somebody gets caught in the collateral damage, that's their problem. Okay, it's not your problem, it's their problem. They were in the range. They deserved it. The HMG emplacement, I think that's what it's called. To me, personally, I don't think that this is that effective because, for one, you're literally a sitting duck. I don't know how effective this thing is against heavy armor, but you're just there on a machine gun. And that's it. I'd much rather have a Helldiver that's on foot with a machine gun, like a Stalwart or the actual machine gun, than using this thing. You know, unless we're actually defending something like our extraction. But even then, it's not like you're kind of wasting a spot of your stratagem because you're only going to use it at the end of the mission when I need you to be using this all the time. So it's really not that effective in my personal point of view. The rocket pods, super effective, definitely a need to have. Because it's really good against, you know, heavier targets. It's really good against, you know, taking out those bot drops that we love so much that come seemingly endlessly in the freaking game. It's good against, you know, the Bile Titans. It's good against pretty much every single enemy that you're gonna have in the game. Not only that, it prioritizes bigger enemies. So very, very good, very effective to have. The mines, you can skip those. You know why? Because these are better, the incendiary mines. Okay, don't even worry about the mines. It's not going to be that effective. The incendiary mines are going to be way more effective. It's going to do what you need it to do. Bypass the mines. You want things to be on fire after they explode. You don't want things to fly away and then maybe come back and kill you. That's what the mines do. They just blow up and then they just go somewhere else, and then sometimes they come back and they haunt you. Set them on fire. And also, even with that, they're good at controlling zones, like a specific zone, right? But by way of, you know, actually utilizing it effectively, I have found personally that I have killed more of my teammates than I have even killed enemies with the mines at all. The bubble shield, this is really good. I was using this in the defense missions when I was playing the defense missions, and it helped significantly. It's definitely not a should have, but it's definitely something you should get at a certain point in time, which is why I'm putting it in the category. Okay, not super effective because a Hulk or, like, you know, those little guys, like, they can just run into the bubble shield and kill you. But what's really good about this is that against the automatons, if you put this down and then you put another sentry like the mortar inside of it, it protects the mortar sentry. That's how I was using it, and it was really super effective in those defense missions. The only problem is that the cooldown on the shield is very, very fast, but the cooldown on the other sentries is not as fast. I do think that if you pair it like that, like, you're gonna need to have the shield, and then you're gonna need to have another sentry, usually like the mortar or the autocannon or something along those lines, to be able to do the things that you want it to do. It works wonders like that. It's definitely not a must-have, because essentially what you can do, you could do the same thing. You could put a mortar down and then an autocannon right next to it, and it does effectively the same thing. The autocannon is going to protect your mortar, and your mortar is going to shoot shit from far away. To me, it's like in between. Okay, it's very much a use case scenario. Definitely not something you need all the time. Something you should get. The Tesla Tower. I have not used this, but I don't really see the point in it. I don't know if anybody else agrees with me. It just looks like something that is just gonna get destroyed immediately. It's awe-inspiring. You want to go near it. It's like a moth to a flame. But for some reason, I don't really think that this is too effective. I don't know why. I don't understand where I'm gonna use this at. Like, what am I gonna do with this thing? All right, so the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna classify and update the tiers. We kind of generally put them, you know, in their classifications, right? So we have our must-haves. We have the railgun, the shield pack, the orbital laser, and then we also have the orbital rail cannon there. But we want to know how, like, what is the you know, the necessities here. Okay, so definitely the rail cannon. The rail cannon, you get that. Okay, just get it immediately. You need to have this. It's so good. Okay, the orbital rail gun, amazing, 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 amazing. And the orbital laser, and then the shield pack. So definitely A list, S tier, whatever the hell tier must have is the rail gun. You need this. Okay, you're gonna need it all the time. It's effective against everything. It doesn't matter what you're shooting at. Okay, if it's a big thing, it's gonna destroy it in one shot. Okay, if it's a bigger thing like the Bile Titan, maybe a couple of shots, or maybe one shot if you use it in unsafe mode. But just, I'm warning you about this gun. Use it in unsafe mode. See what's gonna happen. Grenade launcher, definitely not. It's a need to have, but I feel like it's on the lower end of the need to haves, because you can kind of get up to the harder difficulties without having this, right? Like if you're just starting out, you definitely don't need to have a grenade launcher, right? You don't need it because you have grenades, right? So it's on the lower end, but it's definitely helpful, and it's definitely something you should unlock immediately. In terms of the need to haves, by way of, like, you should unlock it immediately as soon as you can, definitely the rover. The rover, you have to have that. I can't tell you how many times a rover has helped me, even solo. It's just get it. Okay, it's amazing. It's one of the best things ever. The 500 kilogram bomb, it's staying right there because it's so fucking cool to see. It's amazing to see it in action. Okay, the I think this is, which one was this again? Yeah, I think this was the rocket pods. I think this is good here, like this, the rocket pods, the cluster strike, and the orbital cluster. I think that's good the way it is, to be honest. Like, this is very, very solid the way it is, but definitely we're gonna have to move this around. I think the mortar is higher on the list than the autocannon sentry, and the rocket pods, I think this is where this is gonna be. Okay, I think this is solid. Should have the machine gun. It's one of your, I think it's the first thing that everybody gets. You're gonna have it, right? You're gonna have it starting out, but it's definitely not above the stalwart. You're gonna want to unlock that stalwart immediately. Thank me later. Okay, the recoilless rifle, that's definitely more effective, way better than the machine gun. The autocannon, definitely way better than this is gonna go all the way down here, actually, just because, like, when you reload it, you have to stop to reload it. You literally have to stop to reload this thing. So you're first of all, you're out of commission, you're prone to getting hurt. It's like, why? You know, I think this is probably the way it needs to be, right? So I think this is the airstrike. This is definitely way more effective than all of these things. You should definitely unlock this ASAP. You should definitely unlock this one ASAP. The napalm strike you could do without for some time, until maybe in the later stages, but definitely you don't need to have it immediately. These two are way more effective to have immediately, because this one will help you clear out buildings, automaton buildings. It'll help you clear out bug holes, all of that stuff, and this will just wipe out ads in just one straight shot. It's amazing. It's really, really good. The EMS strike, I don't think it's that necessary. We could put this in the back, sort of, because that will come in handy later. but definitely it should have. You don't need it immediately. You should get it later down the line though. The Gatling Sentry. Definitely not something you need to unlock to be able to progress in the game. I think I might move this down. I just don't understand the point of sniping in this game. It's not that type of game. Like, and this is coming from somebody who usually snipes in video games. I love sniping in video games. I play Ghost Recon. I play Apex Legends, and usually in Apex Legends, I'm sniping. I'm using a Sentinel. But in this game, I just don't understand why you would use it. I don't see why it would be effective. If you don't understand the chaos that happens in this game, it's not, you don't need to have this thing at all. You should just not even unlock it. It's like you're gonna pick off one dude and then you're gonna get bombarded by 500. What's the point? Just pull out a machine gun at that point in time. It's not necessary. You don't need to have that. This one is kind of man, I might have to move this one up because this one is useful in the later stages against bigger enemies, but you don't need to unlock it immediately, right? You should have this, right? Because it's so powerful. That one's tricky because of the lock-on. And looking at it by like letter tiers, I don't think that it should be, technically speaking, this is S, A, B, C, and then F. I don't think that it should be in a C tier. I think it's in a B tier. I think it's like you should have this, right? But I also don't think that you need to unlock it immediately. Like, it's not really that necessary. And because of that lock-on situation, it's definitely lower should have because of that. I think so. This one, you could do without it. To be honest, this is going to be lower end. You don't really need to have it to progress. This one, definitely you don't need to have this to progress. The ammo pack, definitely same situation. You don't need to have it to progress at all. Okay, so what do we have left? Damn, I really don't know. This one's difficult. This tier is difficult. This one I'm gonna put high because you kind of unlock this one immediately, right? This one you can choose to unlock, but it's really not that necessary. So I feel like this will be like mid. The smoke, I don't understand the point of the smoke, to be honest. And maybe it's just because, maybe it's just because I just don't have the use for it. Like I've never used it, but I just don't see the point of the smoke. Like I just want to blow shit up. You know what I mean? I just don't see the point of it. But maybe there is a point. I don't know. I'm ignorant to the smoke. This one definitely looks effective. I've never used it, but definitely something I'm gonna unlock literally today. So it looks effective because you shoot in a straight line. It's not crazy unreliable like the He barrages. It shoots in a straight line. You know where it's gonna go. You're not gonna risk killing your teammates unless they're idiots and decided to run ahead of you. You know where it's gonna land, things like that. So I think this is okay here, and this is sort of okay here in the center as well, because this is useful, but it's definitely not a need. And this is useful as well, but definitely not a need. All right, I think that's gonna do it for there. We're gonna classify the nope. Okay, definitely this is why. I don't know if anybody's ever used it, but no, it's literally like shooting a fart. It's exactly what it is, bro, and it's not effective. Just don't. Now the machine gun sentry, I'm gonna put it at like high nope, because it is effective in the early stages, but it's really not that effective in the late stages. So it's really not, like, you don't really need it, but you do kind of need it. You know what I mean? And this is absolutely no. This thing, the sniper, I don't understand why it's necessary. The flamethrower, I don't understand why it's necessary. This is, I could see a functionality for it. I could see why it would be useful, so it will stay there. I think the jetpack is more useful than that. I don't think the smoke is that useful. I'm gonna put the He barrages higher because they're more fun to use. but you might kill your teammates or yourself. So have fun with that. The laser, I might put this up to but like low because I didn't like it when I was using it. It really just felt like I was shooting juice at my enemies. Like, it didn't feel effective at all. I didn't like it. It might be effective. I just might not be using it correctly. I don't know, to be honest. I have no clue. This can stay here. You just really don't need it. To be honest, you really don't need it. And this too, you really don't. See, this is hard. We need to put a new row. Actually, is this accurate? Yeah, this is like, nope. Like, just don't get it. Just don't get it. Which means that, okay, so this is effective, but you might kill people with it. So I'm gonna move those up to because you might have fun with it. I don't know. These definitely, this is also effective, but not really, right? So I'm moving the jetpack up. What are like definitive nopes? This one might be effective. I just might not be using it correctly. And the laser might be effective. I just might not be using it correctly. The ones that I definitely think are absolutely not are these down here. You don't need this. You do not need this. You don't need this. You don't need this. These are just no. Just don't get them. That makes more sense. I'm more satisfied with that. That makes a lot more sense. I'm happy with that. And the reason why I put these low is because these are kind of like on the border of nope and They're like, do I get it? I don't know. I may be dissatisfied with it. I don't know if this is going to be useful or not. It might not be useful, and I have no idea what the hell this is. This is something that doesn't exist in the game. I didn't see it. Did you? If you know what this is, somebody tell me, because I don't know what that is. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the tier list. I really hope you enjoyed. And if you disagree with me, tell me why. I might not have used all of the stratagems, but I do know a thing or two about strategy. And I do think that some of these, I made a very, very good decision, a good judgment call on most of them. Okay? On most of them. I may be wrong, but you know, that's the beauty of having a tier list. So please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your opinion about some of these stratagems, which ones you like, which ones you love, which ones you think are just absolutely dog shit. I want to hear. Let me know in the comments. All right, guys, that's about it. Peace, peace. Much love. I'll catch you on the next one.